Pokemon headcanons can be pretty entertaining, and you guys seem to agree because this has been my most requested video. You guys have been asking, you guys have been begging, pleading, so here it is, the 4th Pokemon headcanon video. And I just want to say, wow, you guys have been at work providing me with headcanons. So much so that it's starting to get really difficult keeping up with everyone's headcanons now. I had to read over 1,000 comments this time, which is incredible, but that means I can't talk about every single one that I read. So if you want your headcanon to be featured in a future video, start typing. Hurry. Go, 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 go. And subscribe while you're at it. It's the least you can do. It's free. A lot of people have been asking recently in the most random places, Rogue, where do I leave my headcanon? And that's a great question. The best place to leave them is the most recent headcanon video, which currently is this one. But I will go back and read some old comments on older videos eventually. Some people have been leaving them on community posts, random shorts, and I don't know, probably mailing them to me or something. If they aren't on a headcanon related video, chances are that I will not see it. If you're unfamiliar with what a headcanon is a piece of canon that you came up with your head and choose to believe in, regardless of whether or not it makes sense, it being true, or how silly it is. It can truly be whatever you want. It can be something like, Lily eats the wrapping papers of her gifts to show how grateful she is. You guys put way more thought into it than that, but you get the idea. Anyways, it's time to read some more headcanons. Giraffe Girl says, my headcanon is that the reason the protagonist is silent in Generation 4 specifically because they grew up with Barry, who would never let them get a word in edgewise, and they just stopped. We're already off to a great start. I can totally see this one happening. Barry just does not shut the fuck up. So Lucas or Dawn just giving up, not even trying to speak anymore, makes so much sense. I'm sure we all know a chatterbox or two, and once they get going, there's no stopping it. They just keep going on and on and on and on, so I can understand why they would give up. You usually gotta wait until they tire themselves out, but I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon with Barry. Primpsifer says, I feel like whoever found out about Z moves had a great idea of pranking everyone by saying a dance has to be done for the move to activate, and that whenever they look at one using a Z move, they just laugh their ass off. This would be the biggest gaslight in the entire world, and I love it so much. I can just imagine it. Yeah, man, you just gotta hit the cha-cha slide, do the Macarena, hit 1/4 of a default dance, and you activate the Z move. I don't make the rules. I just work here. I got my hands tied. This guy single-handedly gaslit an entire culture, but maybe it was for the best because the little Z move dances are pretty cool. N from Pokemon says, some of my headcanons is, this one is very weird, don't ask, but Ray and Adaman from Legends Arceus are best friends who hang out a lot, and they both loved grilled cheese. And if anime existed in their timeline, they would also love that. All 4 of the Unova protagonists are scared of heights, which is why they always ride the Ferris wheel with someone else and never alone. Alisa and Nessa have a rivalry and constantly compete to see who's better as a gym leader and in fashion as a model. I have no idea why Ray and Adaman are best friends who eat grilled cheese sandwiches together, but I like it. I bet they make the best grilled cheese sandwiches in the village, and likely the only ones, because I don't think they're even invented yet. The Unova protagonists all having a fear of heights is super funny. Just when they thought N could comfort them while riding the Ferris wheel, he just drops the biggest bombshell of information on them and just leaves like nothing happened. I can definitely see Alisa and Nessa having a rivalry. Little dynamics like that add so much to the world, so I like it. Ariana 2 says, headcanon is that Barry only drinks Red Bull, no elaboration. I really hope that he does, because if Barry isn't currently already drinking Red Bulls right now, that's horrifying. He has all of that energy without it. So just imagine just one tiny little sip of Red Bull. He's already bouncing off the walls. Now he's gonna be bouncing through the walls. Sir Cat version 1 says, I don't know if this headcanon has been done before, but I headcanon that Cynthia is an incredibly indecisive person and takes forever for her to choose anything. Gordon James Henry Productions adds on saying, bonus and everyone is too scared to ask her to just choose one. I can just imagine this one. She's taking her sweet time at an ice cream stand, taking almost 30 minutes to decide what flavor she wants, but nobody in line, nor the stand owner has the balls to tell her to hurry up. So they just gotta deal with it until she finally decides. I mean, realistically, I'd be too scared to say something too. She's one of the strongest trainers ever. If I say anything, I'm gonna die. I think it would be even funnier if she just ends up not getting anything at all and just walks away after almost an hour. Such a Cynthia move. Droop Trooper says, I would say I have 2 headcanons. Number 1, Karen, Sydney, and Grimsley are friends who play poker together about once a month and play with their Pokemon. Grimsley is too competitive, Karen is normal, and Sydney still doesn't know how to play. Number 2, the reason Penny has an Umbreon is because of windows being closed and there being no lights in her room. Her Umbreon always thought it was night and evolved. Those 3 are such random characters to imagine being friends, but strangely enough, I can see it. It would be funny if Sydney's Pokemon learned how to play poker before him, but it's okay. He's just happy to be there. Maybe he thinks it's Go Fish or something, or Go Magikarp. Penny's Eevee evolving into an Umbreon because of that is a funny little thought. Poor little guy has probably never seen the light of day, and when it does, it starts hissing or something, and maybe even melts. Who knows? Lixio says, this video reminded me of how fun headcanons are to come up with. So here's one I thought of. Shiny Pokemon sparkle on command. In the wild, they do it when encountered as a form of intimidation, but once they get caught and realize how coveted they are, they do it after being sent out of their Pokeball out of a sense of pride. Maybe when they're in the wild, they get excluded by other Pokemon of the same species for looking different, so they actively try to get caught by trainers who love them for being shiny. This is such a cool headcanon. While yeah, it is pretty sad that they'd be discriminated against by their own species, at least they can find a place where they could be happy and wanted. It's like Rudolph being made fun of for being different and having a red nose, but then Santa takes him in and he's the raddest reindeer around. The shiny sparkle sound is so satisfying to hear, so I don't know how well it would work as an intimidation tactic, but once they are caught, people will love that little shine. Also, while on the topic of shinies, thank you to everyone who sends me shinies when I live stream. You really don't have to do that, so I appreciate it a ton. I want to organize them into a little box and use them in future videos and whatnot. Also, you guys gaslit me so much into thinking I missed a shiny Pokemon multiple times that when there actually was a shiny Pokemon, I didn't believe you guys. I just walked right past it. And then chat started freaking out. They're like, Rogue, turn around, there's a shiny. I'm like, I'm not believing you. It's like the boy who cried shiny. That shiny Bonsley will forever keep me up at night, taunting me. But it's okay, someone sent me a shiny Sudowoodo after, so did I really need the Bonsley? I didn't need it. I didn't need the Bonsley. The crazy goose of your dreams says, my headcanon is that Nimona can sleep on command. I can see her doing multiple battles and then being like, okay, time to sleep, and just fall asleep immediately. I love this one a lot because it's just so silly. This is just such a Nimona thing to do. I don't even imagine her like even laying down to sleep. I just imagine her sleeping while standing like a horse or something. Someone asked me while I was live streaming who my favorite Pokemon character was, and my brain turned off. Even I didn't know. I thought about it after and I was like, yeah, Gladion is pretty cool, so maybe Gladion is my favorite character. But thinking about it now, Nimona is my favorite. She's just so dumb and energetic. I should really make a top 10 favorite Pokemon characters video. I already have a few in mind right now. Peyton Does Things says, amazing headcanons. I have a few to add. Elisa definitely puts on fashion shows for her Pokemon when bored. It's kind of like putting on fashion shows for stuffed animals, but well, for Pokemon. All of the gym leaders from each region, Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, have group chats, one for each region's gym leaders, even the trial captains of Alola. Another amazing one to add, based off of a trial captain group chat bot I made, Kiawe does a good Elvis impression. I will not add context at all as to how we got there. I can see the Elisa one happening, but when she was younger, maybe that's how she started off her modeling career, and how she got the courage to perform in front of large crowds of people. I like the idea of an all gym leader group chat. I can imagine one of them getting their ass beat by a trainer, and then immediately rushing to the group chat to warn them, be like, guys, you're not gonna believe this. The Kiawe one is really off the wall, but I won't question it. Let's just roll with it. Hershey says, I've got a few. Steven hands out rocks on Halloween instead of candy. He's not trying to be a jerk. He genuinely thinks he's the coolest adult in Moss Deep for this, and that the kids love it. Number 2, Leon, Lance, and Wallace get into debates over who has the best cape. Leon and Wallace specifically get really into it. Number 3, the Hoenn champion changes pretty much every week. One weekend Wallace will have it, then Steven beats him. Then Steven finds a cool cave and has Wallace take over, and so forth. This makes planning champion get-togethers an actual nightmare, since they have to figure out which one's champion, and by the time the invitations sent, the other has taken over. Poor Steven. He just wants to show off his cool rocks to people, and they don't even appreciate it. If I got a cool piece of obsidian or even limestone, I'd be pretty happy with it, not even gonna lie. The cape debate is pretty entertaining to think about, but add Claire in there for good measure, since she also has a little cape. I think Lance wins the cape contest, no debate. This is just really cool. The Hoenn champion essentially being on rotation would keep things pretty interesting. They're fighting over it like siblings. Steven would just be like, nah, sorry, I'm not champion this week. It's Wallace. Amber Harpoon Minecraft says, my headcanon is that Everstones are just normal rocks. It's the placebo effect. If a Pokemon believes a rock is an Everstone, they believe they can't evolve, so they don't. This one is sort of similar to the Z-Move Dance one, but they did it less for the funnies and more for a practical use. Why invest time into making a device or object that prevents Pokemon evolution when you could just tell them, hey, if you hold this funny rock, you won't evolve, and they'll believe it. It's great, and honestly, maybe it is true, because the Everstone just looks like a pebble. It's like the Pokemon World's version of the pet rock. Crafting Gummy says, or Gumi, I don't know. Oh, I have so many headcanons. Most of them about the Scarlet and Violet crew because I love those dorks. Penny stays up late at night watching YouTube, has a really niche taste in music, Vocaloid and the like, and always has snacks in her hoodie pockets. Arvin always goes crazy when he sees a dog Pokemon. Baby Talk very excitedly petting them, etc. Is always asleep before 9 p.m. and gives the actual best hugs. Nimona will happily go on 3-hour rants about battle strategies, listens to Little Miss Perfect, and, piggybacking on the other theories, has juvenile arthritis, like me. Penny would 100% listen to some Vocaloid music, and probably has some Nightcore or something. Same with the snack part, but I wonder what kind. I can see her liking chocolate a lot. I don't know why, but it probably wouldn't be the best to keep in your pocket since it'll melt. After all the trouble Arvin had to go through to save his dog, I would imagine he cares a lot about them. So yes, he will give every dog he sees a nice little pet attack. For Nimona's 3-hour rants, I like to imagine she knows exactly what she's talking about, but she's going so fast that it just doesn't make any sense to anyone listening. Stankylosaurus says, Number 1, Grusha and Red bond over their love for icy mountains. Number 2, the people of Galar are incredibly coddling towards gym challengers due to the realization that their region wouldn't have a champion if Leon had gotten lost forever along the way. Number 3, Leaf had a third wheel dynamic with Red and Blue because she was never the main rival, which is why in Alola, Red and Blue leafed her behind. Number 4, Opal and Bede have tea parties where Bede is a snooty gossiper about Hop, and Opal just says, I certainly agree that he would be better in pink. The Grusha and Red one is so unexpected, but makes so much sense. They both chill up on icy mountains all the time, so I can just see their conversation going like, pretty cold up here. Yup. And then they'd snowboard or something. The second one confused me because I didn't know what coddling meant, so I had to ask my friend Murdy what it meant. Thanks, Murdy. But it basically just means being super overprotective, to the point where it's annoying. And yeah, if Leon did get lost and never found his way back, he wouldn't be champion. So I can see why they would be scared if they lost any trainers with high potential. I can also see Leaf or Green being the third wheel for her. Opal and Bede scheming about making more people pink is pretty funny though. Boo Boo says, my headcanon is that the way you teach Pokemon new moves using TMs is that you show them a YouTube tutorial on whatever device the player has, Pokewatch, Rotom phone, etc. Can't explain how you lose TMs, but it's a funny visual to me. I really like thinking about TMs this way. You put on a little tutorial video for your Pokemon, like, okay, Billip, this is how you learn Bubble Beam, and then they just watch intently until they can actually do it. This will forever be the way I imagine it, because like, why else would they be shaped like discs? They never explain that, so until they do, YouTube tutorial videos it is, complete with royalty-free music. Miku says, my headcanon is that Cynthia travels around a lot because she's getting all these brand deals from different companies around the world. She would get offered to model in an ice cream ad or a cameo in a movie or something. She's like the John Cena of the Pokemon world because companies know that she's just that popular. As silly as this one sounds, it's oddly realistic. In our world, we have celebrities doing the most random collaborations on the planet. I mean, we have Chris Pratt voicing Mario and now Garfield. It just feels like he's doing side quests at this point. So I wouldn't be all too surprised if I see Cynthia being in Brawlhalla or voice Princess Peach or something. She will be a Pokemon icon. I think these headcanons are getting better and better with every video that passes. And I really didn't expect you all to enjoy these videos as much as you do. So again, thank you for everyone's support. These videos wouldn't be possible without you. I highly suggest watching my Which Pokemon Character is Most Likely to video, since it's sort of like a spin-off to my headcanon series, and it's a pretty fun video overall. Anyways, subscribe, like the video, comment, follow my socials, join the Discord. Merry Christmas, guys. Goodbye, people.